We got some pretty exciting Beyblade X news updates with OrochiCluster and even more bays coming up in November. We have a lot of Beyblade X news to talk about. So if you are excited here and like bays that spin, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts, and check out Mall of Bays. We are taking pre-orders for Wolf. It is an optional way to support. I import from Japan and I'm Canadian based. It is an optional way to support the channel, and I appreciate any and all support regardless. So as per usual, I'll be leaving timestamps in this video for all of our talks, whether it's the manga chapter or anything else. But let's first talk about some of the smaller stuff in news, which is also going to be part of my speculation. It's going to be on the Red Aero Pegasus. We've seen it. We've been wondering how are they going to actually release it. I think we have been getting some clues here. For starters, I believe it's supposed to be mid-November. They're updating this, whether it's some new stickers that are going to be on the rare baguette or a white bit set of old bits, which I think, again, it's pretty lame. They should just do new bits or something like that. So I imagine by November 15th, they'll probably do the exact same thing as Silver Cobalt Drake, where the main one will be Valkyrie Volt, the burst finish will be probably the Pink Wizard arc, and then after Aero Pegasus also is going to be there. Yeah, I imagine by November, and then after they ship out like in December for that rare base stuff is going to be pretty nice. So next up, we're going to be talking about the main November release information, which is going to be Wolf Hunt. This is a release that releases on November 1st. So with Wolf Hunt, we already have allegedly leaked weights, so I'm going to kind of just flash it up on the screen right now. If you're wondering if these eventually get 100% confirmed, we'll see. I have no idea how these even got found. I assume because the physical products leaked like ahead of the news reveal that someone got those bays somehow and then decided to weigh them, and that's how we have it. Either way, Wolf being almost like, what, 39 grams for the stock for the CX Blade is interesting. I am noticing their trend of kind of slowly weight creeping CX, which I do think this system itself is just not well designed, and we are seeing that there's not really much of anything that can perform that effectively. Even the one that people are going towards, which is like Blast Wheel, it's like, or even the Wheel Assist Blade, it's like only one so far out of all of CX works for competitive. Hopefully more releases are actually able to work out pretty well. The Wolf chip, I do like the gear chip design. I thought the original Wolf looked pretty good. The new design of that CX lock chip looks very, very nice, so I like that quite a bit. You do have something interesting here with the main blade of Hunt. It's so round for the shape, and what's cool about this, it's kind of a square shape. It's a square, but it's basically a circle shape. This is a reference to the original Wolborg for that shape, and I think that's a really cool thing. It's cool we get to see Wolf come back. It was a pretty good homage base, so I'm hoping that the CX release is able to do good. Maybe we can finally get something that's actually good for stamina for custom line. I know some will say, well, Blast Wheel on 960 free ball, but I don't like it. I don't think it does that well compared to some other stamina stuff that I've seen. But yeah, I mean, there's the other thing with the new assist blade of free, and I do believe this should be 60 heights, not confirmed, but free is the exact same gimmick as Silver Wolf for free spin. Now, if I were to be the most charitable right now to Wolf Hunt, I would say it should be probably some pretty good defense. The same thing as Silver Wolf. The thing for stamina is that it does have, I think, a pretty nice shape, but I don't know how effective it's going to be. Some of the other parts just to brush by. 060 is a who gives a shit about this. They had to eventually do it, you know, sure. Okay, the colors look fine. Disc ball, the more that I think about it, you know what would have been cool? If we had like a free disc ball. You know, we had like free ball, free disc ball. That would have been cool. Disc ball is kind of used for defense. I imagine probably the stock combo should be probably okay defensively. I do think most likely a hover wyvern might insta-kill it. But aside from that, you know, this release does seem promising, at least a lot more than what we've previously seen. Our next release that's going to be coming out in November is the Emperor Might deck set, where they give us Shark Gill, 560 free ball. So Shark is one of the okay, actually, I'll specify which Shark. Shark Gill is one of the worst basic line blades in Beyblade X. It's far too light to be used competitive, or I don't expect this to perform good. I do think the colors on it look pretty nice. We get 560 reprinted, which I'm fine with it. I would have obviously liked like a 760 or whatever. We also get a blue free ball, which I think that's actually one of the good parts there. Free ball, I think, is pretty comparable to ball. Sometimes I prefer ball, sometimes I prefer free ball. It kind of just depends on whatever I'm using for the combination, but a nice blue recolor. Now the Golem Rock is where this hurts the value of the set overall, because then after you have to hope Emperor Might is good, but Golem Rock, decent against other attackers, you know, it's good at destabilizing opponents. I think it's still solid in the current climate of the meta. Do I think it's on the level of Shark Scale or Hover Wyvern? No. If I put up my tier list right now, I still think it's pretty, like, I'd probably use it over Impact Drake right now, just for consistency's sake. But the other parts they give you here are M85, and I'm trying to think here in the sense, well, they have to at least reprint a part at least once, so I suppose that's fine. This is already the Hulk colors. Actually, that's not even really the issue. The issue is just the contact points are so easy to hit. Now, the thing that is so annoying, like, who the fuck at TT decided to give this high needle? Why? We could have had a green wedge. That would have been fine. I think that would have been like, no one would have complained about that. Why are we still getting season 1 bits? And I know we'll clock Mirage. Well, that's a little bit different for what's been reprinted in the context of High Needle. We've gotten it so many times. Like, now the main thing about this is going to be Emperor Might. So like the other release, I'm going to flash on the screen right now what are the alleged weights for everything. So the Emperor lock chip is supposed to be slightly less weight than the Valkyrie lock chip. And I believe how this works in competitive is you can only have one of each. One Emperor and one Valkyrie. I believe those are the restrictions. The big difference between this and Valkyrie is the metal weight distribution. Some parts are hollowed on there. Will it be better than the Valkyrie lock chip? Will Valkyrie be better? Not really too sure. I imagine that the use for this is just going to most likely be on defensive combinations or the attack combinations just to give that weight. Maybe, and it's only because of the other heavy parts that is literally that's a name. But the Might's main blade, it looks like this should be pretty good defensively. Like, it's not as round as Blast or even Hunt, but I imagine since this is supposed to be allegedly the heaviest main blade, if that weight is true, then defensively this looks like it'll probably be pretty good. If the stamina is good too, awesome. Now we have a new assist blade of heavy, which is because of the 2 metal placings on there. Now I think what's going to be interesting here is that you're going to potentially have it where attackers are going to get a big boost in weight, and maybe you can have stuff like Drawn Brave do a lot better because of all that metal weighting. You know, I think there's a lot of potential here. I know some are not for the idea of like the power/weight creep, but I think in the context of what custom line is, where everything is kind of almost either dog shit, mid, or Pegasus Blast on Wheel, which is pretty good. I'm pretty hopeful this should do something for the custom line, because something has to. Now you do get a fused bit ratchet, which this one is called Operate. So how this works is supposed to be a manual mode change. So your short height, which I believe is in attack mode, would be 80 height, and then after the alternate mode is 85 height. Super tall, but unlike Turbo, this looks a lot more rounder. So being a simple ratchet, you are very easy to burst. I don't expect this to be good. Like, it's not even like being a hater, like simple ratchets just don't work. They're too easy to burst and exploit. Simple ratchets can also damage the lock on your blade. And aside from that, like, I don't really know what use this would really have. You have a super tall needle mode. Maybe paired up with round, you can protect that simple ratchet or something. And maybe this could be like super tanky defense. The last thing to mention here is that this is all for Persona. Wizard Arc gets the Might's main blade, Drawn Brave gets the heavy assist blade, and Hell's Reaper gets the Operate fused bit ratchet. I think that's cool that instead of us having to get 3 more Persona releases, they just dish out upgrades on a deck set. So the other thing to talk about, which is the secret UX release, which is probably this video's title, is supposed to be OrochiCluster, which I believe the parts on it are 660 low flat. So this was originally for a design contest. This is pretty cool. This is supposed to be a mail order. So what that basically means is that you have to wait for it to get the second hand, because someone in Japan has to buy the Fallen Korokoro issue, pay the 2,200 yen, get it, and then after they have to put, like, I expect this to be maybe pricey to get. I am excited that we are kind of getting, in a way, new content, you know, because most of the time it's just been these retools or echoes. Do I think this has that good of a design? I think it looks kind of interesting. I like the gear chip art. Maybe this will be like Hover Wyvern, where it hits pretty hard. It's almost an oval shape, but it's like a rectangle. But the last thing to talk about is the manga chapter. So we basically see 3 and 4 Kodesu, which owns Soul Eclipse. And basically we get some backstory here to Wolf Hunt, where Wolf Hunt was actually, I think this actually counts as an evolution in Beyblade X, which is funny. So I guess like Ginro was battling against like some other pro bladers. I believe it's supposed to be like the Underground Pros or something, and his Sterling Wolf dies, and I'm pretty sure that's a Terminator reference when it's doing like the thumbs up and like the molten lava as it's dying away. But these bladers appear and they kind of just give him this ultimatum: you beat us and we leave, or if we beat you, we get your Bey. He accepts, and then after obviously he loses and they throw his Bey in the water, and that's kind of it. I mean, the twins have a pretty cool personality, you know, that they're fake. So I don't know, I'm curious to see how the anime is going to work with this, because obviously the manga chapters go month by month and we're obviously limited in what they can tell for the story, but I do think it's going to be interesting to see how they can set up the 𝐒𝐂𝐑𝐄𝐓 family and how can they make this interesting for the ongoing stuff. There's a thing that's leading into the Persona upgrades where Multi and 9 are both Bey crafters, so they're probably going to work together to give Persona their upgrades. Aside from that, what are you excited for any Beyblade X news? What are your thoughts? Let me know. Also, I have my Clock Mirage review that's already out, and I'll be getting out that Infinite Stadium video probably by the end of this week. And that's kind of it for this video, so I want to say thank you all for watching. That's going to be it for now, and I want to say take care and bye. Thank you so much for the support.